How's it going, everybody? My name is Doge, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of, if not the #1 best Tesla alternative. Now, a lot of people know Tesla for being one of the best electric cars out there, and let's just say I'm pretty controversial. I'm like 50-50 about that opinion. So I actually drove some electric cars in Greenville, and I'm pretty sure I found my favorite one right here, and it's made by Volkswagen, a car company that recently just went into electric vehicles. Now, this is Volkswagen's new ID.3. Now, this is a small family crossover hatchback thingy, similar to a Golf. It's like a grocery getter, but like with electric batteries and a lot of range. And I think it's a really good alternative to like maybe a Tesla Model Y or Model 3. But not a Model X because, you know, it's an SUV and this is not. So anyway, the ID.3 looks like a small and cute little hatchback, and surprisingly enough, this makes like 200 horsepower. It's like a very good amount for a vehicle in this category per se. And this vehicle is actually new into Greenville, being added a few updates ago. I'm going to show you guys around it today. Now, upon the looks, it looks very egg-shaped. It has a similar shape to an egg, like most of the ID series vehicles across Volkswagen's roster. I do like the wheels though. The wheel options are very nice. I do like how the back is so similar to a Golf. A random guy could just confuse it for an actual Golf. And one thing I really like is these hexagons here, or just parallelograms. I just like these little shapes across this panel here. I just really like the design. It's overall very cute, and it sort of gives me like city vibes because this is actually marketed towards city car use, but you could also use it in the country. But specifically in this game, I feel like it's a good daily driver considering its range. Now that I've taken you guys on the looks and the performance stats, let's go to the dealership page. Alright guys, here we are at the 2023 Volkswagen ID.3's dealership page. Now this car, when it was added, came with 3 trims, well actually 4 trims, and 8 sets of colors. Now, it starts off, it's pretty expensive since, you know, it's electric and basically everything electric is like overpriced as fuck. So anyway, the Pro trim is the base model, and it starts out at $47,000. Now, the next trim is the trim we have here, the Pro S Tour. And basically, all of these specs are pretty accurate, except for the range, because I think, if I remember correctly, that the Pro S actually only gets 280 miles of range. And it does have 200 horsepower, it does weigh exactly 2 tons, it is a 5-seater, it is rear-wheel drive, and it tops out at 103 miles an hour. Now, we have a relatively interesting option here. We basically have the same thing, but wheels are kind of like orange. I just think that's a little taboo in my opinion. And then we have the Pro Performance, which is basically a faster version of the ID.3, I guess. I haven't really tested this out, but I guarantee I'm not going to. And then it's back to base with the Pro trim. Now, I personally like the choices of these rims. Half of them you can't really see them. And for one, it's basically just hubcaps, like, you know, steelies. It's a little taboo on this type of car. And it comes in 8 colors, with the color choices being white, black, gray, clay color, stone, I guess, turquoise, red, pissed yellow, and another shade of silver. And I actually like these kinds of colors, but except this, actually the yellow looks a little more fitting. But anyway, moving on, this is the dealership page, and yeah, the Pro S trim is the most expensive, costing at almost $60,000 in game cash. And now that the dealership section of this review is finished, let's go to how it sounds. Alright, now that the lighting test and sound test are completely finished, let's go ahead and see how fast this is. Alright guys, so being that this is a heavy car with like a low top speed of 103 miles an hour, this electric car with like 200-300 miles of range, this car actually has launch control. I don't know if you guys heard it in the sound test, but that little throttle noise, that was the launch control. So that little noise indicates that the launch control is now activated. And I'm gonna floor it in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, now I know this vehicle won't actually go like 103, but it will go 100 at a very slow rate. So now we have a top speed of, well, 101 miles an hour. So now all we gotta do is check the braking. Absolutely stellar brakes for this kind of car, being that it weighs 2 tons. And what I like about the braking is that it has the traditional European style brakes, and what I mean by that is like when you brake it, when you brake it too hard, the hazards actually flash, which is a pretty smart decision if you ask me. Now all that's left to do is see how it drives. Alright, now driving the ID3 is very relaxing. It may not be exciting, like basically no electric car ever. This ID3 is actually very calming to drive. It's like a very relaxing ride. It handles absolutely amazing, especially for the fact that it's actually rear wheel drive. But you can't really see that because, you know, it's electric. It can't really do burnouts. So yeah, it has 280 miles of range supposedly, and I've been using these a lot lately, so that explains why I'm on like half a tank. This is like a very easy car to drive. Though it may be expensive for an electric car, it's still worth the money in my opinion. Though it has basically the relative performance of a city car, you could still use these on country roads like this one, since, you know, the range, the acceleration, it's all fitting in any location. Anyway, I really like driving this, and I especially like the little technique with the braking. Well, it only works when you like brake it on the brakes. But anyway, yeah, I actually really like this car. Acceleration and the overall experience of like accelerating is relatively relaxing because of how quiet it is and just how different the electric motor actually whines, considering it's not a Tesla and it doesn't have any of those generic ones. You may not hear it because it's quiet, but like anyway, in conclusion, this car is a great alternative to like a Tesla of some sort, and I really recommend it if you guys just don't like Teslas or just don't want a Tesla, something different for once. I recommend getting this. And now for the rating of this car, I would still give it an 8 out of 10 because, you know, it's not perfect, but it's definitely a great car to use. It's very easy to drive, very relaxing to drive. It may be a little expensive. It may not be exciting, but come on, this looks like a Golf, very much like a Golf actually. And you cannot like, I just don't like tossing up this car. It's such a cute little city car that you could actually use on country roads, and the high beams look very nice. Also the DRLs too, like look at that. So I'm not gonna get ahead of myself here. So yeah guys, thanks for watching this review. I got a ton more coming up soon. And yeah, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.